Yeah, I didn't think the game was going to go into dark, but
Too funny.
All right. All right, it's rolling.
Well, I don't know who is watching, but this is I can't thank Josh enough for reaching out to me after after we found out what happened with Todd, and I chatted with Melissa and the family with Scott, and said, hey guys, we want to do this, and just because I don't think there's ever enough time to tell all the stories that the man had to tell.
No.
It's just that simple, because I think I heard 3 separate times at the service that if your phone rang and it said Todd Putnam on it, you better at least reserve an hour.
true.
Yes. Yes.
And you might not even talk about what you're supposed to talk to him about.
And depending on who you are, it could have been longer.
Yeah. Exactly. So for those of us who did have those fortunate conversations, they were fortunate. So some of the stories are just pretty epic. And the one I did not get to tell you, and this I told this to Scott when we were up there, and I told Pete this. So not a lot of people know. Todd and I were actually literally, I graduated high school, and Todd and I were supposed to go to Virginia and move to Virginia to work. We were supposed to go to work for Jayco. Probably went down there in October, hung around, walked around, saw everything that Elkton, Virginia has to show you, which doesn't take very long at all. And we had ourselves a great time, and we went to this little hotel, or you can't even call it a hotel; it was a motel. Jack's like, look, that's the best place you can stay in town. And we went down there, and we walked in, and Todd used to call everybody Chief. So we walk into this little, basically, it's like a house. I mean, I think the guy lived there in his lobby. And he goes, and we walk in, and Todd goes, what's up, Chief? And he goes, how'd you know it was a chief? And we're like, what are you talking about, man? And he goes, turn around, boy. And we turn around, and there the guy is with a picture and him, and he's the damn police chief. The retired police chief from years ago. And we're just like, oh my God, here we go. So we go through, get our room, and he goes, you guys want 2 beds or 1.5? And we're like, what? He goes, well, we got these, it's a cheaper option. So I said, I'm like, well, we're going to take 2, but just for shits and giggles, we got to see what 1.5 looks like. So we go look, and sure enough, there's this little tiny it's like a half a double bed. And we're like, yeah, we're good with this one. We'll take the 2 beds. And it was just, we had so much fun. We went down to Richmond the next day, ran a bunch of carpet races. Gary Warren had a fun 410K speed control, stuck wide open and hit a soda machine. Stretch, which was always a good one. So, just so many amazing stories that he and I and Miles that we put together. But I know that Josh has certainly got a bunch of them. Steve has got a bunch of them, and I know Melissa, you got a whole bunch of them.
Yeah,
I can't wait to hear even more of them, because I know Steve and Josh have some that when I wasn't around, and same deal for me when those guys weren't around. So I'd love to hear some of those.
All right, flip a coin. Who's going first? You or me?
I'll go. How about that?
All right, go ahead.
So when I first met Todd, I was about 14 or 15, and I was racing at a 12. We were running 12 scale oval, and he had just won the Roar National. Okay, I was 15 years old. All I wanted to be was a Roar. All I wanted to be was Todd Putnam. He was the man. Like, the man was coming to my track. And Burkhardt, I believe you came. Mike Murphy came. Ryan Corrick, Scott Law was there. And Putnam he was like larger than life to me. As 15 years old, he was like the man. Like, this is the 12 scale stock national champ. Yeah, I remember that distinctly, that you guys came. Track was called RC Raceways. It's cool that you guys all came, and that's my first impression of meeting Todd. Was like, the man is here.
That's awesome. And going back to the picture that Josh posted on Facebook, that's kind of why I wanted to use that picture, is that's really where it all started. I mean, Mike Murphy was a guy who just Todd idolized Mike, and Todd worked as hard as he did because Mike drove him. And we didn't know it. We had no clue. We were in the presence of greatness, quite frankly. The two of us were two young dummies, and we were just trying to be as fast as that guy. So that's what we were doing. It was awesome. So that's why I started with that picture. So I love that you have that story, Steve. That's cool.
Yeah, that's my earliest memory of Todd at 15 years old. That he was the man, and I got to race with the 12 scale stock national champ.
Hell yeah. Nice.
I'll keep going. Let me see some other stories. Burkhart, do you want to tell the Tony Stewart rent-a-car, or you want me to tell that one?
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
All right, so we fast forward to the Snowbirds now. This is probably 20 years later. And Tony Stewart happens to pop down because I want to say the NASCAR Daytona was around the same time. So he's down there, and we're all going to go out to dinner. So Todd's driving one rent-a-car, and Tony Stewart's driving the other, both minivans. And I want to say Jack was on the tab for both of them, or Jack from Jayco?
He was on the tab for one of them.
For one of them. Okay.
This might have been 2 years in a row, though, because I rented a car one year that Todd was driving and was not a minivan. So wondering if this happened multiple occasions.
I guarantee it happened multiple occasions.
So let me go with this one. So I'm in the
smoke involved in a rental car. Trust me.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm in the passenger seat. Tony Stewart's driving. I can't recall who's in the back, but it doesn't matter. So they're driving to the restaurant like wildly aggressive. Todd like cuts off Tony, and Tony says something like, "There's a guy driving above his ability" or something like that. So we're at a stoplight. We're taking a left. Todd's in front. Tony's behind. These are rent-a-cars, mind you. Tony's in the gas on his bumper, and you hear crunch, 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 just like their toy car. So we get to the restaurant. Todd parks, and then Tony parks right next to him, mirror to mirror. I was the passenger seat. I had to climb out the driver's side because mirrors were touching. We get out and look. There's holes in the bumper, unbelievable. So. And then we had an amazing dinner. I believe you were there, Burkhart.
Oh yeah, that was my rental car.
Yeah,
well,
and it was a super fun night.
Todd's words to me were, "Well, you took the insurance, right?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't."
Yeah.
I think I posted it on Facebook. If you were there was three. If you had Todd Putnam, if you were fortunate enough to be Todd Putnam. With Todd Putnam, Tony Stewart, and or a rental car, any of those three combinations, you were in for an epic time.
This Bob W. chiming in here?
Yeah, look at Bob Smith here. Josh, what do you got? You got some good ones because you were at some big races with it.
Yeah, Bob's bouncing in and out here.
There he is.
My first recollection of Todd was obviously seeing him in the magazine and seeing him from was that K&N?
Yeah.
With all you guys, and I had seen him at I think maybe Whippoorwill when I was young, going down there. But I was with Reedy Associated, so and this was one of the things. I don't really remember a bunch of time that I spent where I was actually running anything with Todd, but I was always kind of racing against him.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So it was a little bit weird in that regard, but as far as having fun, that was one of the cool things with Todd is some people really kind of take the team stuff to heart. He didn't care. When the end of the day was done and we wanted to go have a beverage or we'd see each other in a restaurant or something, come sit down, whatever. So it was one of those things to where he was always really good about stuff like that. But the earliest I remember him was there at Whip. Later on, I don't know if you remember Fume, but I was in the B main at some Roar Carpet Nationals at K&N because you kept going out 2 laps faster than the pace to TQ and driving with your eyes closed and kept dumping. But that was the first time I really had kind of been around the group of you guys and seen Todd and that, and got to understand everybody's personalities a little bit more. So I had a lot of fun there. And it was the same type of thing like you were saying, Fume. It's like, okay, this group of guys is fun. Like, okay, I like racing. Oh, I want to try and race with these guys. This looks like it's going to be a good time racing with them. So just the whole group of you guys. I think I was pitting up next to the track, and all you guys were in the other room at K&N.
Probably downstairs, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we'd like wrench on stuff and then go downstairs just to like watch the comedy show with all of you guys, busting chops and messing around. So I don't even know if you guys knew who I was at the time, but I had a lot of fun with that. And then I went to Sandhills, and Stuart was there. And I was actually rooming with Dale Epp because I was too young. They wouldn't let me rent a car. And so I was rooming with him. And then I rode back and forth to the hotel a few times. Now, the crazy part is that was my first meeting of Stuart. And I had no clue who he was.
Yeah.
So we're like,
I don't think most of us did until we're like, oh, shit.
Until like they showed up on Sunday, like selling T-shirts, from him sitting on pole at Indy that year. Like I didn't realize that was him at an RC race. So we're sitting across from dinner, and Todd's busting my chops, and I had no idea. I mean, just a bunch of normal guys. So it was really awesome. But
that trip was really fun. Actually, that was a good one.
Yeah. So the first so after that, I had talked to Todd and been around him some. But like the all-time best one, and I don't know if Fume remembers because he was very, very intoxicated. Do you remember when we came out to Connecticut for we were out at Madness racing, and Putnam and I met up with you to go like drinking on a Saturday night or something like that?
Yeah, I vaguely keep going with it.
So at that time, like we were in the middle of a big road trip, so it's Dieter, Lemieux, myself, Spashit, and we were kind of bouncing around a couple tracks and that on our way through down to the Snowbirds. And so we were there, and I was just between the group of us being together for that many days, jammed in Dieter's van and everything else. Like I was going stir crazy. And I think Todd, saw it. So I was sitting next to the track, just trying to get away from everybody for a little bit because they were wearing me out. And Todd's like, "Hey, you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You don't look all right." I'm like, "Dude, I'm just fried." He's like, "Be ready to go tonight. I'm picking you up. You'll be fine." Okay. So Dieter was super mad at me that I was going out because I wasn't running good. Nothing was going good. He's like, "You shouldn't be going out. You suck." And I'm like, "You know what? I'm fried, Jim. I need a break." I said, "I'm going out." He's like, "You suck tomorrow." He's like, "I'm going to kick your fucking ass." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." Todd shows up. We talk to Jim for a few minutes. We leave. So we go to this nightclub, and Fume's already there. I got drinks in my hand.
Remember this now.
And I am having an absolute great time. All of a sudden, this really hot chick is dancing with me and like all over me. And I'm like, and Todd's just standing there smiling, and Fume's running back and forth to the bar bringing drinks. And I'm like, the hell is going? This doesn't happen to me. What the hell is going on? What are these guys do?
Hell no.
So, no, this was legit because that's even Todd was laughing about New Jersey tire traction and all kinds of other crazy stuff. So later on in the evening, I asked Todd, I'm like, "Okay, this isn't normal. What did you tell her?" He's like, "Oh, we told her that, you're still a virgin and you're batting for the other team. You're thinking about batting for the other team. So we told her that I would buy her drinks, that we were going to buy her drinks all night so that, we made sure to keep you on the right side of the tracks or something like that."
I remember this now. Like I would have never remembered that.
Are you kidding me? So this chick was all over me. And that was it. Like the night finished and she was gone or whatever. But that's why I was like, what the hell? And that was one of the things that Todd did. Todd somehow set this all up. And I'm like, seriously? So then we leave this place and we're going to go back and, or no, we went to a gentleman's club, but Fume had a lot of drinks that night. So that was when we went there and we sat down and maybe had like one drink, and Todd's like, "Where's Father Fume? He's disappeared on us." I'm like, "He probably went for a dance." He's like, "No." He's like, "I know my boy. Come on, grab your drink, finish it." Okay, I get up. We walk out into the parking lot, and there's Fume laying on this like concrete wall, just like he's dead, like sleeping. He'd come out to puke.
I remember this now.
He's like, "Come on, let's
that
go
was my
get him."
greatest moment.
Yeah. So we went and got you, got back to the other car, and then I drove you home, and Todd followed, and then Todd drove me back to the hotel. But there's another part of it that's just, you were so hammered and you like let one rip in the car. You're like, "Cyril, what's that rancid smell?" Like,
I don't remember all this stuff.
He's like, "Oh, damn it, roll down the window." But the worst part is he's like falling asleep, and I'm like trying to shake him because I'm in Connecticut. I have no clue where I'm going, and I'm driving all over the city trying to get him home. And Todd's followed me, so we're just like all over the place. And we finally get him home, and he gets inside. Okay, let's go. I drive back. We're rolling, laughing. We come walking into the hotel like 3:30 in the morning or something like that, and Peter sits up. "What time is it?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it. Go to bed." I wound up running great the next day. I wound up like winning 12 scale and finishing second in touring car or something after like being back of the pack all weekend. So it was a great time, but it was a typical Todd thing where he told a little bit of a tale, and the whole evening went from there. So
the fixer, right?
Yeah. So there's a couple other ones from Snowbirds. Like I was racing, I think I was actually racing Murphy, Mike Murphy. And it was a year when SMC had the really good batteries, and we were running the stock metal hydrides.
Yes.
We're battling for TQ, and then like, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds to go, I dumped. Murphy goes on to TQ, and all you hear is "Stock metal dump" from the side of the driver's stand where I always stand. I said, "Oh man, that's rough." Of course, Ernie's there, everybody's there. It's like, oh Jesus. I get off the stand, and Deidre like snatches my car out of his hand. And he's like, "That's not happening again. Can you fix your car?" I'm like, "I'll fix the car. Can you put some horsepower in it?" He's like, "Yes." So we got to work, and then wound up running the main. And it's another funny thing with Todd. So Todd and Jack Reimer are standing like on the stairs next to me because I was standing on the far left end. So I wound up running behind Murphy, and I think like maybe 15 seconds or maybe 30 seconds to go or something, I passed him on the outside of the back straight and won. But prior to that, I was trying to run him down after kind of getting pinballed around at the beginning. And I forget who it was. I don't know if it was Postal Weight and one of the guys, but they were all over the track. And as I come up on him right behind Murphy, like we split him as he's like doing this stuff. So I think I yelled something about like, "Get your shit box out of my way," as we're coming down the front straight. So I go around the far end, come down the back street, and I look down, and Jack and Todd are on the ground. Like they had fallen off the driver's stand, off the stairs, and they were rolling on the ground laughing. Because I had yelled, for whoever to get their shit box out of my way. So at that point, I'm like, "What did he? Oh yeah, I gotta try and catch this dude. What am I doing?" He's screwing around. So
there's got to be some Ranella stories, Fume.
Oh, there's some Ranella stories. Yeah. One time, me, Ranella, and Todd. Joe Ranella was another good friend of ours who raced oval. He was from New York, and he was a funny character too. Great guy.
Is this a Champions Play hurt?
No, I mean we were going to CEB to test. CEB was before the Carpet Nationals in '94. I want to say.
Oh man!
And so it was very competitive. It was Bob Smith's home track. Brian Booz was there, another fast guy. was a lot. Kirby Hand was there a lot, so it was a lot of competition there. So we were going like 2 weeks before to practice or test, and Ranella, we love Ranella. But he was never fast.
I know.
We love Ranella.
If he made an 8 man,
He had his moments. He had his moments, but anyway. So Ranella's out there, and he's like, "All right, Todd, give me a good motor, give me a good battery. My car's good." And Todd's like, "You sure it's good?" You're like, don't want to waste it, good run, good battery, he's like, it's good, it's style. All right, so he gives him a good motor, good battery, goes out there, and he's like 5/10 off. He's hysterical. Like, just the car is shimmying, shaking. And so Ranella is just dejected. He comes off the stand, just in complete dejection. And me and Todd are just laughing hysterically laughing because he was like, I shouldn't be swearing. This effing thing is terrible. F this thing. And he goes all pissed off. So me and Todd were just dying laughing at him. I mean, I guess you had to be there, one of them stories, but he was so dejected. It was just, I guess it was funny to me at the time.
Well, here's a good one. Sand Hills was a good. So go back to that Sand Hills one with Tony Stewart. We all met him, kind of. We're like, okay, it's cool. And Todd had actually driven to my house, and we rode down there together. So we were riding together, and I think you and Bob. I wish Smith was on here for this one because this is a good one. We were kind of running.
He keeps phasing in and out on me.
Yeah, there he is. I see him now. He's in the dark. So. Turn your flashlight on, Smith. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you.
There we go.
Oh, I wanted to pick up on that story that Fume was just telling, but I'll wait.
No. Go ahead. Continue that one.
Well, I didn't hear the whole thing because I'm in and out, but I don't know if Fume got to the part where, at the time, Putnam wasn't known. He was more known for motors, not necessarily for his wheelmanship. So for him to TQ, Fume and I always suspected that there was foul play involved.
This was the 94 Nats 2 weeks later. 2 weeks later. So now we're really there. We're there at the Nationals. Go ahead, Bob, from there.
So Todd TQs, and I'm Steve and I weren't, we were friends, but not like we are now. And, I was like, you believe Putnam TQ? It's like, yeah, Putnam TQ. I said, how much voltage must this guy have for him to TQ? So, he ended up winning the race, but he jumped the start. Long story, whatever. Didn't really matter. But for years after that, it was like an unsolved mystery how Putnam TQ'd that race. So a couple years later down, Fume and I didn't race for a long time, but still every now and then when I would talk to Fume, we'd still mention that story, how Putnam TQ'd. I hadn't raced in a long time, and I finally talked to Todd one day. I came back for some dirt oval race or something, and I'm talking to Fume, and Fume's like, all right, Todd, we want to know, what batteries did you have for that race? And Fume's like, come on, the statute of limitations is run out. You can't be convicted for, what did you have? Did you have 2000s and 1700 shrink wrap? What was going on? So that leads me up to this story. I'm at Madness the weekend that Todd passed. And I found out, from Marcy or whatever. And I was up on the driver's stand when I found out. And, it was a pretty somber couple days. But towards the end of the weekend, we started telling stories about Todd and, thinking about the good times and stuff like that. And Steve and I are sitting there pitting together this, a couple weeks ago. And I look over at Steve and I said, well, he took it to the grave with him. He never relinquished how he won that race with that voltage. And still to this day, I'd still love to know the answer to that unsolved mystery of how he did that. So,
here's the beauty of the conclusion of that story is it's over because nobody knows.
The best part is the way Bob's telling this in the dark with this glow over his head. All he needs is like a trench coat or walking down the street like a rainstorm or something.
I had to drive down the
unsolved
street
mystery
to get reception here. So.
Oh God.
But yeah, that was one of my favorite Putnam stories. There's been many, but like off the top of my head, that's the one that always comes back. For years. I mean, it was 17 years since I last raced until the last couple years. And still, one of the first stories is like, I want to know, Putnam, how did you... Yeah.
Hey, Ryan.
So hold on. While I'm telling the story, I'll tell a real quick one on Burhart. I know this isn't a Burhart tribute edition, but I just want to tell a quick story where I heard Sand Hills mentioned.
Oh, so well, this is where it comes from.
What?
This is why this story is funny.
Yeah, so I wanted to tell a quick story on Burhart. So we were down there, and Fume was fast, but he broke something or lost something.
I know exactly what it was.
You're gonna hold out. It was called a Ritchie King tweak system or something. You needed a long 256 screw. So nobody had one. Fume went to the hobby shop. He went to everybody. Nobody had one. And I said, Fume, haven't you been looking for a 256 screw, a long one? He said, yeah. I said, Burhart's got no less than 20 of them in his box. So he goes over and asks Burhart. He says, "You have a 256 long 256 screw?" And Burhart says, "Nah, don't have that one."
Nope, did not have one.
I said, "Fume, I hate to tell you, but that man is holding out on you."
5 minutes later, Putnam comes over. He goes, "Hey, you got a long 256?" And I handed it right to him.
So anytime I thought Putnam was holding out on me or anything, I was always paranoid that somebody was getting more voltage, more motor than me, So is this like another 256 screw, Putnam, or what,
Yep, it happens.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt there, Burhart.
No, that's literally the story that I was going to tell because that was such a good weekend. There were so many funny stories with that weekend. I mean, and all of us were involved in seemingly every one of them. It was. Oh, let's see what Ryan's got. Whoa, look at him, man.
What's up, dude?
That grill.
You're missing some teeth there, dude.
Hear you. The microphone is muted. Stop. Stop. I can hear you. Go.
Oh, too funny. Too funny. So I'll give you guys one. It was a long time ago. Back in the day. So Todd was literally my big brother. A lot of people don't even know that. I mean, I met him when I was like 12 years old. Or some random ass RC race at a gun club when I didn't know what the hell I was doing and my shit was broke and
what happened?
And I was literally getting ready to leave and he's like, "Hold on, where are you going? We can fix this." And I mean, him and Jim File, and maybe you've heard that name, I'm sure, Melissa.
Who? I lost y'all for a minute. What'd you say? Who?
Jim File.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so him and Jim File hooked me up, got me all squared away and set up. But he did so many firsts with me. I mean, taught me so many different things. But he had one of his early cars was an old school, the square box Nissan Sentra. And he had this black Nissan Sentra. And those things had headlights that were about a foot wide, on them. And they were bright back in the day when headlights weren't bright. We're driving down I-90 one night, and this guy is pissed off at him because he thought he had his high beams on, and he didn't. And this guy's brake checking the shit out of him, and next thing you know, Todd does high beam him, and the guy brake checks him even more. So we get off, Melissa, you'll know, that we get off exit 10 at East Greenbush, And he goes, watch this. We get off, and it's an off and an on. We get off the ramp. We get back on the ramp. As we come up the ramp, he shuts the headlights off. We follow the guy. He didn't have no idea we're there. We get to before the next exit ramp. He wraps the guy right in the ass, flips the headlights on, high beams him, and we bail off the exit ramp.
Heard that story.
I'm like, what the hell, man?
Hume, did you tell the CB story about the cows and Nick?
No.
Putnam loved that story. That was he used that line all the time. I don't remember it exactly, like Hume might remember it. But...
I'll tell it. Yeah, me and the guy with motors I was running at the time, Nick Vemlis, Mighty Motors. We're driving to North Carolina. It was either King or Sand Hills, one of the two. It's like 2:00 in the morning. I'm half asleep in the passenger. Nick's driving, and Nick looks around to me and goes, "How come the cows get to sit down and relax and the horses do not?" At 2 a.m, Putnam used to think that was funny. We used to talk about that all the time. Uncle Nick. How come the cows get to sit down and relax and the horses do not? Johnny.
He literally said that the last time I talked to him.
Oh, my God. Melissa, how about some soft? There's got to be some good softball ones that we've never been a part of.
Oh, God.
Hey, I
mean,
don't mean to cut it short, but I got people staring at me. I'm sitting alongside the road here to try to get some reception, but my Wi-Fi in my house isn't working. I'm sitting alongside the interstate.
Oh, Jesus.
So I might call it a night, but I wanted to make sure I got that story in on the falsified voltage story that he had there. So, with that, I'm going to leave y'all.
Statute of limitations is up.
Yeah.
All right.
See y'all.
See you,
All right,
Bob.
yeah.
See you, Bob.
See ya.
Too funny.
I've been clicking him on and off mute because I don't know why, but he's got this like crazy clicking sound. It was driving me crazy. So I'd see his mouth move and I'd hit the unmute button so he could talk. And then as soon as he was done, I would hit it again.
Oh, man. Too funny. Oh, what was that?
I don't know who that was.
Buzzy. Yeah, so any good softball stories? I mean, I loved hearing a couple of the different ones, that Sid said last week with how he would talk about different stuff. So anything there?
I mean, there's definitely some good ones. I mean, no.
Oh, we lost her.
No.
Chiming in on softball.
Everybody?
Oh, here she comes.
There. Yeah. He was coach to everybody. Like, Scott and I were talking about it, and it was, he took the players that didn't have the skills and made them, players. And that was just the one thing about him is, he was always about making somebody better. Even in racing, like the low man on the totem pole, like, let's see if we can get you better,
Yeah.
And that was really because that was the whole thing, E equals R, and he would play a player that gave you effort all day long before he would, take somebody who was just good at it,
Yep.
And that's what he wanted. He wanted to see effort, and that was his big thing. So, but yeah, I mean, there's so many stories I'm thinking of. I know of one, but I don't know if Hume was it Stratton's bachelor party that was like a big dud, and they like hired strippers or something, and he ended up like, it was bad. Like, I don't know whose bachelor party was, but I feel like it was in Connecticut, and it was really bad. And he's like, all right, this is real, like, we got to do something with this. So he ends up on stage, and this poor stripper, like, the belt comes off, he is beat, and when I say beat, like, welts, and he's got to go home the next.
All right, so I wasn't going to tell that one.
You just gone over the cliff like everything's on the table.
You jumped the shark.
So I can fill in some. I can fill in some details for you. So it was my buddy Bill Stratton's buddy. What
That's who it was. Okay.
we're all up and we're like, all right, let's go out. Okay, I'm like, I didn't even know the guy either, but I'm like, let's go. Sure, it'll be fun. And so there's dancers there, and then towards the end, they're like, guys, anybody wants to get whipped? The more money they see, the more wilder they get, right? So guys are up there like snap, nothing. Todd gets up there. Can't believe I'm telling this story. Anyway, so he's on the ground. He's pulling his pants, like he's laying on the ground so he can whip his bare ass. And he's like, come on, bitch, is that all you got? And me and another guy,
I've heard this story.
me and another guy, Mark Schmeika, you guys, me and him are like literally this $1 bills raining. Just like just feeding dollars. Bam, 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 bam. These chicks beat his ass. Yes, they beat his ass, and he, drunk. So I guess he's like, come on. I mean, his ass was welted like you never believe. And they're like, come on, is that all you got? And I remember thinking, he's got to drive home to New York with an ass he ain't even gonna be able to sit on. Oh, it was hysterical. They whipped his ass harder than anyone. And me and Schmeichel probably threw $100 each. Just making it rain.
One with Micah too.
What's that?
I remember a story with Micah going to Cleveland. They almost got arrested because they decided to start spraying water on all the people walking, like literally soaking people because it was pouring. They thought it'd be fun just to soak people with the car. Yeah, and they almost got arrested that night. Oh God!
It's funny that you brought that story up.
I remember. Yeah.
Oh, Josh, I totally forgot about that one in New York, or me and you going out. I remember it now, but of course, I had a few drinks, so I could see why I forgot.
Yeah, we showed up. You were already there, once we finished up at the track. But man, was that just in general? It was one of those evenings that you just didn't stop laughing the entire time. From one, just the preposterousness of what was going on. Plus, I had never seen you like that. I only really knew you from like Serious Oval Racer. Todd was just hanging around, drinking, shuttling drinks back and forth to the bar type of thing. It was just this really weird but awesome story of an evening. So I've been trying to message Dieter to get him on here or Paulie, because there are some hilarious ones.
Oh yes, there are. I don't know if
between those two trying to get each other, and Todd finally getting Paul really good.
Oh yeah.
Paul trying to plot to get him back, but I can't get either of them on here. They're not online or on Facebook right now to where I could invite them in to come tell that story. So
Dieter's in New Rochelle at Donalia's track.
Oh, okay.
I have one story. Let me grab a prop, though. Hold on.
Anytime a story needs a prop, that could be a problem, or it's going to be just epic. Should be interesting.
You guys spoil him so much, honestly.
Oh, what about you? I'm gonna record when you are spoiling.
I love your book, by the way.
All right. So this is one of the few things I have from the old days.
I remember that body.
This is a 94 Bowlink.
Oh my God!
From the Pro Car Nationals that I had won. Now, this was at K&N, and I was 16 years old, and it was paying $750 to win. So at 16 years old, I was like, $750, hell yeah. So meanwhile, Todd was working at Trinity at the time, and I wasn't running Trinity. So I was enemy number one. I was not to win.
Yeah.
So I'm leading the race, and Todd had wrecked. He's on the infield of K&N, sitting there. Here I come down the straight. I remember this. He guns it, and the fender bends up. I see this left fender bend up, just misses me.
Oh, he lagged.
Come on.
I remember this body right here. He hit this K&N sticker, bent it up. It's just something I remember. That we talked about it years later. Oh no, I wasn't trying. Like he was trying to get me out of there.
For the longest time, Fume, I didn't even know you actually had a name. It was Who's 52s.
Oh, shock.
Do you remember that?
Oh, how could I forget? Yeah, I could tell that story. I'm fine.
Oh.
So this was years ago. I was heftier than I am now. Still hefty, but so I was a bit larger. So I was wearing a 52 waist, let's just say. So Bob comes, and we're at King, and Bob comes walking around the corner with my 52 jean shorts. He's got both his feet in the one leg and goes, "Who's 52?" Yeah, that's another funny story.
Oh my god.
Too funny.
I wish I
Did
kept.
you go to the club with us at King, Fume, when we all went?
I don't remember King, but you know what? I didn't recall Josh's
King,
story
Sand Hill.
until he told it, and then I remembered. So I don't remember many in North Carolina, though.
It wasn't King. It was Sand Hills. When we were at the race with Smoke.
Yeah, I think we went. I remember going to the go-kart track down there one year and just beating the piss out of those things. I remember the throttle cable. You could it ran down the side, and you could bend it and get more yank. So we were just bending it. The guy was all pissed off all over the place because we were trashing the cars, bending the. Jason Lambert was there. I remember he was the guy figured out you could bend the throttle and get a little more yank over the next guy.
God. Yeah, that's we went to when we left to Sand Hills, we went to a gentleman's club, and it was Smoke and me and Putnam, and I don't even know. I think Jack was with us maybe, and we go in, and this was back in the day. I don't know what you got to do now. It's been a little while, but you literally had to sign in, and you got Tony Stewart, who's the guy who sat on the pole of the Indy 500, a couple of months earlier or whatever it was. And he's like, "Do I really have to put my real name?" And Todd yells out, he goes, "You can just put mine. It's fine." And the guy's like, "What?" He's like, "What are you talking about?" Because they didn't know who he was. And then literally 2 hours later, Todd's got this girl sitting on his knee. Tony's got a girl sitting on his knee, and Todd goes, "You see that guy over there? He sat on a pole of the Indy 500 this year." So much for keeping a low profile.
I remember being at the Snowbirds and going to dinner, and everybody's looking out the door of the kitchen at the restaurant. We're, "Oh my God, who is that? We know that guy." And all Todd said, "Oh, that's Pete Sampras, the tennis player." Tony's like, "Fuck you."
I got back about the softball you talked about, Burr. I have a brief story. Is my daughter's playing softball this year. So who else do I call? I call Todd. I mean, he's the racing man. He's a softball man. He was everything.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call Todd and pick his brain. So we're talking about, I'm like, well, what kind of bat? I'm like, does she need all them high-tech bats? I said, it's 10 and under. And he said, I said, are girls 10 and under going to have like a $300 bat? He goes, mine did.
Yeah.
So right to the wall I went. Todd says, ship it. I shipped it. Mine did.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, is a $50 bat going to do the same thing? But not really. So,
Nope.
Shipped it. He said, "Ship it." I shipped it. Yeah, we had a lot of talks about softball. He'd give me a lot of advice to help my daughter. My daughter was learning how to pitch, and so he gave me a lot of advice. It was very helpful, very thankful.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool. I was talking to Scott last week, and he was talking about Ryan's go-karts, and Todd was always about making everything just perfect. Everything had to free perfectly, spin perfectly free, and he says to Scott, he's like, "Look at this!" He spins the axle, and the thing just like just some crazy German bearing go-kart, and that Lewis Hamilton should be driving, and Scott's like, "Come on, man, he's like 6 or something." He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "That's free horsepower. We don't give up free horsepower." So just always perfection with the man. That's the one thing that was always there. And again, bring it back to Mike Murphy. He just drove that with everybody. He wanted everybody to just be better. And Todd and I were I guess we were the lucky ones that bought into the bullshit. I guess it kind of worked. So, we definitely had a lot of fun. I mean, going back to talking about that Harrisonburg story, we were supposed to go to work for Jayco. We go, we come back and go home. And it was probably a month later, we go to Cleveland for the first time ever. Two oval donkeys from New York are going to go to Cleveland and run this road course race with these guys that run these twisties. And we had been going out to like Calandra's place and testing out there and trying to figure out exactly how to not look like complete fools. There you go, Steve Salvis, can't fire a cannon from a canoe. There's no doubt about that. I felt like I had a canoe when I went out to Cleveland that first year. My first thing, we're getting everything set. Him and I are running just 12 stock or whatever, just because we sort of knew our limitations back then, at least. And I set my car down, and sure enough, first thing that happens at Cleveland, I'm in the hallway of the damn hotel, get a radio hit somehow, and the car takes off wide open down the straightaway and hits a door jam, breaks the chassis in half. So I come back. Todd goes, "You ran out of talent already?" He's like, "Damn, son." He goes, "That's early. We didn't even start the race, and you already broke the car in half." Like, well, if anything worth doing is worth doing right, isn't it? So that race, we're out at that race, and we were having just an absolute blast. I mean, honestly, I know, Josh, you've had probably some pretty stressful Cleveland trips, but you can still have fun. Yeah. You're always having fun at some point, and we had an absolute blast, and we ended up hanging out with Ernie and Joel and all those guys, and Todd being Todd, we left Cleveland, and both of us had job offers from Ernie.
Nice. Nice.
And I'm like, what just happened? I'm 18 years old. I'm 3 months out of graduating high school. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? He goes, "Well, we got a decision to make, son. We're either going to Virginia or we're going to New Jersey." And I said, "All right, well, we got to pick." And I chickened out and did not. And I legit, I was supposed to do sales for Ernie. And Todd was going to run the motor and battery department. And I was going to run all the stuff. And it was a big coup for Ernie, because we were the Jayco guys, and all of a sudden we're TRC guys and Trinity guys and everything else. So it worked out. But I literally at the last minute, we had an apartment all set up, and I felt terrible. I didn't even know what to do. I'm like, dude, I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I was totally terrified.
Is that how Todd ended up piled in with the Hand brothers and everybody there? And yep. I won't say the name of the house that they called the house, because it was like 8 of them all jammed in this little tiny house there in New Jersey.
Yeah, I think he had an apartment, I think maybe for like a year, and figured out he wasn't there long enough to actually need it. And it was like, screw that, I'd rather kind of live in a frat house. It's easier.
Yeah.
Yep. That was a good time.
I remember when I first came out to Trinity and Todd was there. I think he left shortly after when I was there and started doing his own thing. I think he was there the first time I went out there with Dieter. I'm pretty sure he was still there.
Yeah.
So
it was definitely a lot of fun. I mean, it was we definitely back in the day we had some good times. We wanted to make my parents, drive them completely crazy, but it's my dad just absolutely loved Todd to death.
Honey.
Todd was one of the few people that came to my dad's service, which I just couldn't thank him enough for. He came to my dad's 80th birthday when that happened, so the guy meant the world to me, and telling these fun stories is cool because they make you smile because that's what you need.
You know who we need? We really need Pete and Dieter, Lemieux.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We need all those guys to hop on.
Yeah.
I know.
Because there's so many stories. I mean, I remember just going to the open wheel for a few years. The one year I went, or the 2 years that I went, I was with Pete. Of course, Pete was running for Todd, and I had gotten some stuff from Malakote and Berry Hill, and but I was still kind of like, we kind of pitted between the two areas, and I think it was the second year I went. So Pete and I were thrashing on our stupid open comp cars, and I want to say it was my EDM car. Todd was actually pretty quick. I think Todd wound up missing the main, but bumped in from the B. And I was garbage. Like I was in like the E main, and this kind of goes back to Bob W and his voltage. And I was slow. Like I could not get out of my own way. I was so slow I couldn't even tell if the car was bad or if it was just that lack of horsepower. And we were there thrashing, Pete and I were, and Pete's like, you know what? We're gonna try something. So what's that? He says, I know where Todd hides the voltage. He goes right down, and I had bought some stuff beforehand, and Pete checked it, and he's like, yeah, all your batteries are garbage. This is a big problem. So he's like, well, you can pay Todd for one tomorrow. He's like, I'll get you one right now. He goes into Todd's box in the bottom drawers, nuzzled behind a bunch of stuff, pulls out a battery. He's like, put this in. I went from the E main, won the E, to the D, to the C, to the B, to the A, and bumped all the way into the A.
Voted.
I don't remember. I think I beat Todd in the B main, and we both transferred into the A. And he was like, where did you come from? I'm like, nowhere. I don't think he knew that Pete had given me a battery out of his bottom drawer, his secret stash of sticks, but I did pay for it. Pay for it.
I have a good one actually at the open wheel, and it really wasn't necessarily about Todd, but we just got a kick out of it. Was the guy that used to come pump the campers, the poop guy, and he's like, what are y'all doing here? And if anybody had been to the open wheel, Norris's track is in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it's a dry town, dry county, whatever. And we brought enough alcohol to make that not dry. But and the guy comes and he's like, what are y'all doing here? I'm like, oh, I would be the one that would have to go out because everybody's racing. Oh, there's just a radio controlled car race. And he's like, what's with all these campers? And these things are beautiful. And they weren't campers, they were really buses. And he's like, I said, oh, this, Tony Stewart's here. It's his big race, whatever. He's like, Tony Stewart. I go, yeah, he's a NASCAR driver. He's like, yeah. He goes, never heard of him. Is he going to be famous someday like Kyle Petty? And I'm like, maybe. He might be. Might get there. There's some good times of that open wheel, though. Oh, my God.
I did Norris Coopers, I think, one year or 2 years. And the 1 year we did it, it was Smoke rented a bus, Todd rented a bus, me and Tommy Smith had Ken Schrader's bus.
Yep, I remember that.
I mean, and we were all parked in this little box, and it was the most epic shit show you could ever imagine. Playing dice games at 2 a.m. I mean, just an absolute mess. Absolute mess. But, man, we had a good time. Holy crap.
Oh yeah.
Literally in the middle of nowhere. I mean, this joint was nuts. It really was. It was crazy.
There's another really good one with. Hold on 1 minute. Where Ziegler, Todd had to take. I had a baby shower, bridal shower, or something. I had to take Todd's truck at the time for the weekend, so he had to. I had a Camaro SS, and he had to take it for the weekend. And he goes out like Western New York area. Let me see it. And
Look at his hair.
He's leading, and somebody else, a group of cars are following him, hoteling somebody. And they get off this exit in a rural, like, housing area, and they're in the wrong area. Definitely no hotel here, and all these cars are following them. And Ziegler's smashed in the passenger seat, got a beer, and Todd puts the steering wheel down, figures out where they're going, puts the steering wheel down in my car, and it gets stuck. And now in the middle of this road, they're doing 2 360s in my Camaro SS, lighting the tires up. And Ziegler is over there trying to keep his beer from spilling. He's like, dude, what was that? But, like, totally not planned, and everybody's like gets back to the hotel. They're like, what was that? He's like, the steering wheel was locked. I couldn't get it out of gear. So, but yeah, just stupid stuff like that just so fun.
Yeah, it is. It's the stupid stuff that is the fun stuff. That's for sure.
I mean, little things like when Sydney was little that he used to get a kick out of. She used to double clap. And that meant I had to get her something to drink or something to eat. And he thought it was hysterical because he taught her, to clap twice. And that meant Melissa had to get something. He's like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Figured out how to manipulate mom without manipulating mom.
Yeah, yeah. And even like the fun thing with Ryan, like when he wouldn't want to eat or something, and Todd's like, oh, you can't eat it. It's like, I'll eat it for you. He's like, I'll eat your dinner. And Ryan go, I'm going to eat your dinner. And he, just to get him to eat. And he'd make the funniest face to Ryan. And Ryan thought it was the best. And, so we actually just had a meltdown just now. So, but
it happens. It's to be expected for sure. That is for certain. For certain. So it's I mean, it's just we most of my stuff, we had so much fun back when we were young. I mean, damn, the guy taught me how to drive a damn 5-speed, on that stupid piece of crap Nissan Sentra. He taught me how to do it in the parking lot of K&N. That's how much damn time we spent at that place. We were actually at a drag race, at an RC drag race at the time. He's like, you don't know how to do this? I said, no, I'll teach you. Let's go, boy. And, here we go. And he's showing me how to do everything. And, God only knows how many years later, I'm literally talking to my son and telling him, hey, this is how you do it, dummy. Because that's pretty much as Todd was like, here, this is how you do it, dummy.
Yeah.
So just fun stuff with him. That's the guy was just legit. Oh, who we got there? Is that Tommy Smith?
I think
Who's that?
so.
Who that?
It just says Tommy.
What's up, Tommy?
Do we got sound?
Yeah, I hear you, brother. Oh, you're going in and out.
No sound. No sound. Fix your mic. Fix your mic.
Yeah, no sound, Tommy. We don't get to hear you, buddy.
come on. I miss Tommy Tire. Those were good days. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no sound.
Does it say you're on?
He's not muted, so
That's weird.
Mike.
Hey, Tommy, hit the wheel in the middle, cam mic, and change your setting. Change the where it's coming from.
Yeah, you might be able to turn it up. I can't adjust it from my end. I tried just
hit audio.
Yeah, I tried just turning his mic up, but I can't from my end. Maybe I can do it this way. Here, now try it.
Oh, nothing.
No, we need
Tommy.
Dang it, man.
Damn, can you hear us, Tommy?
Give a thumbs up if you can hear us.
All right.
Okay, we can't hear you. Your mic's not working.
That's
Oh.
Okay, so
Tommy, call my phone and I'll just put you on speaker. Hold on, guys. I gotta call him. Sometimes you gotta do some stuff that you don't normally need to do with technology. There he is. Tommy Smith. I don't know if anybody can hear you or not. I mean, I hear you. Does anybody else hear you?
No.
Not really.
Closer to your wherever your microphone is. Put it on speaker and put it close to your mic.
Here, let's try that. Tommy, say something.
Okay, it's echoey.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Shit. Yeah, it's echoing like nuts. Ah. Damn. Stupid technology.
I got a good story about the last time I got to hang out with Todd and Melissa, right?
Yeah.
So calls me up on a Saturday, I want to say morning. He's like, "Hey, I got an extra ticket to the SRX race at Stafford. Do you want to go?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I want to go." So I show up there on the 5 o'clock, and he meets me at the gate, gets me like VIP parking. It was great, back or we had pit passes. I mean, totally awesome. So we're hanging out in the back, in the pit lane, not pit lane, but where they work on the cars. And I got, talk to a lot of people, see the cars. This is an all around awesome day. And then we get to watch the race from inside the track, like where pit lane would be normally. It's like an awesome, totally awesome experience. So at the end of the night, we're talking. I'm like, "Todd, you want some ching for this ticket? Like, I'm sure it wasn't cheap." He's like, "You know what? You're good." And it's like, that's the type of guy he was. It's like, I'm sure, I have no idea what that ticket cost, but I'm sure it wasn't cheap. And he's like, "No problem, buddy." It was just a super awesome memory for me to have that last Saturday that we had at that race. Melissa and John and Ryan and Tony Stewart's picking Ryan upside down and shaking him. Maybe it's great memories that I always have. It was super cool, super awesome day.
Yeah. It was a very cool day, and to be honest, we bought those tickets, but Kevin made that happen that day, and Todd didn't want to go. I mean, for a little while, Todd was like, "Yeah, I don't care. It doesn't excite me." Saturday, he's like, "It doesn't excite me," and he's like, he called me back. Actually, I don't remember where he was, but he called me back, and he's like, "Let's go. Let's just go." And I'm like, "Okay." So I bought the tickets. Whatever. He bought the tickets, and I had messaged Kevin, or he messaged Kevin, and we go and we get home that night, and he's like, "Thanks for pushing me to go." He goes, "That was an awesome day, like such an awesome day." It was just really fun. So, and it was cool that you got to be there with us. And as I said, I'm like, what happened was Sydney ended up not feeling well that day, and we were like, "Well, you can't come, if you're not feeling well." And so, that's why she didn't end up being there. And I'm like, "Call Fume, he's in Connecticut." So he did, and so it was a good day.
Yeah. Good memories.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help Tommy get logged in.
Yeah,
What?
One of the guys commented for him to turn off his sound because it might
Brock,
be like
yeah.
canceling itself back and forth.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to tell him to sign back into the chat. And then
Josh, were you at the open wheel the year that he climbed the driver's stand like it was the?
I don't think so. The year I went, it was at.
That was at Bumps and Jumps, right, Josh?
Yeah, the 2 years that I was at Bumps.
Okay. Yeah, at Norris's track. I wasn't there for his win because I was taking my friend back to the airport, but he climbed the driver's stand like he was climbing the fence.
A la Helio.
Yeah.
Oh, too funny. Too funny. You know what's weird is in all the stuff that all the races that we went to, I actually the only one that I was present for was the stock Nats. That was the only one that I saw. I didn't, the CEB. I wasn't at CEB. I wasn't at that Norris race that particular year. That was the one that I saw. And there's a funny, an absolute hilarious one about this one. So you guys know the name Bill Rockensteyer. He's a upstate New York guy. Did decent in the stock classes and stuff. Good wheelman, could definitely make a car run. But he was starting third at that race at King, right behind Todd. Todd TQ'd, and he's starting third. And they're buddies. I mean, we all kind of traveled together for the most part. And Todd looks over at Rockensteyer when they're on the driver's stand. Murphy has got Todd's car, and I've got Rockensteyer's car. And we saw him like kind of say something. We couldn't really hear him. And I asked Todd later, what'd you say? And he turned to Rockensteyer and he goes, look, if you trunk me on the start, I'm throwing you right off of this fucking driver's stand. and the buzzer, because with caps, you had to like really roll on the throttle nice and easy, or you were just going to spin out. So Todd's like, I'm not spinning out, so I'm going to do it the right way. I don't need you being an idiot. And Rockensteyer looked at him, like you could see that he said something. We didn't know what it was. And the buzzer goes off, and Bill's car never moved. It didn't move it had to be at least a full second before Todd was in like halfway through turn one before Bill even moved. I'm like, what'd you say to him? He goes, I told him, dumbass, if he hits me, he's going right off the driver's stand, the express route. And he was not kidding either. Oh, man. I'll be right back, guys. Hang on just a second.
Mackler has a good story about the open wheel, but I'm not telling it because it involves me.
What is it?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. The last time I was at a race with Todd, was Snowbirds, maybe. Maybe that wasn't the last one. But the year I won Pro Mod, so 2017, 16, something like that. I was running Danny Stockman's car, and it was kind of funny because Pete right now, or for a while, has been the man and all that stuff. And so trying to run with him the whole time, and TP kind of come over and was busting my chops a little bit about, because I was practicing a bunch and staying up late and everything like that. And I wound up winning the thing. And TP comes over. He's like, man, I think you're really lucky. We had some serious traffic. He's like, he had you. And then I hooked up the battery to discharge it after the main. It had a lot of time left. Voltage was still really high. And he's like, oh, maybe not. Like, no, I wicked it all up. I was ready. So that was one of the things, too. When it came to like yourself or it all up, I was ready. So that was one of the things too. When it came to like yourself or it all up, I was ready. So that was one of the things too. These guys turn off the sound. Tommy, turn off the sound. These guys turn off the sound. Turn off the sound. Holy cow! I'm sorry about that. All right, let's try this again. Tommy.
Yes.
Ah, there we go.
You have me.
Yeah.
Yay!
Perfect.
What's up,
Sorry about
Alyssa?
that, everyone.
The tire, what's up?
Tommy Tire. It's only been 20 years plus.
What?
I just changed his mic stuff, guys. I'm sorry about that. I had it all changed before so we could try and hear him, and then when he came back on, I didn't have it all adjusted.
I came back in hot. Sorry.
It still had those settings on his name, so sorry about that.
It's all right. I came in hot. Sorry.
What's up, man?
Just chilling.
Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you. Yes. How about we're going to look at a boat. Okay.
Yep.
Snowbirds are done for the day. We have
Yep.
a mutual friend. Okay. We're gonna go look at a boat. A good friend of ours needs a boat. Okay. We're going down the interstate, and he says, "Get off now." I think actually Todd might have been driving. I think you were riding with us.
Yep.
And we got off, and the boat place is closed. Oh, rich people problems. Okay, so guess what's next door? Oh,
The Lamborghini.
Ferrari dealership. Yeah,
I remember this story.
let's get a Ferrari. So we
Yep.
walk in there, and our mutual friend that had just won a NASCAR championship is interested in the yellow Ferrari.
This is when Tony bought a Ferrari at the Snowbirds.
And Tony's like, all right, cool. This gentleman comes over to us. He says, we close at 9:00.
Yep.
Todd goes over to him. He said, hey, man, I don't know if you know it or not, but this motherfucker just won a championship, and he can buy anything in here that he wants. So we're probably going to stay open for a little bit. Is that cool? He said, probably for a little bit, but you can buy a car. Right.
And that's when we saw the back room of the dealership.
Yes. And he got the yellow Ferrari, and
Yeah.
he got a speeding ticket
Yeah.
a week later in Daytona for
Literally like the next week, right?
yes. Yeah.
But he called his mom to make sure he was okay to buy it first.
Yeah.
But Todd was like, hey, man, could you may want him to stay here because he just won a championship and he's got a decent amount of money in the bank.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know that he can pay cash, but he has a black American Express. So do you mind if we just stay here for a little bit?
I remember that because you guys went out and I think I don't know what I was doing. I was probably pissed off or something because I was slow and stayed behind. and now after I heard all that, I'm like, son of a bitch. Don't say no anymore, dummy.
No.
Yeah, I remember sitting in my pit hearing that. Like, yeah, they all went out last night. Tony bought a Ferrari, did a bunch of other stuff. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Are you kidding
Tony,
me? Like, no.
Tony loved Putnam. Like, he's like, that's the funniest guy I've ever dealt with.
Oh yeah, he did. He loved them. I mean, and when you got the two of them together, holy shit! I mean, my lord, it was a hot mess when those two were together. I mean, it was like Siskel and Ebert with those two.
I mean, just a few races I was around with both of them around. It was hilarious. It was just one of those things. You just wanted to walk in and sit down and watch.
Yeah.
Like, because you knew you were going to be laughing and your sides were going to hurt. Like, you know, and your cheeks were going to hurt. Like, it was just kind of standard issue.
Years ago, when we did, when Tony came to the first Opal Wheels that he came to, even before Cooper's, when they were at Kranzels in Pennsylvania.
The McDonald's runs with Todd driving the van and Smoke like, get to the right, like right now. Like, yeah, it was good times. There was never nothing bad.
No. Or you just sit outside in the rental van and Tony's bored and he literally just puts his foot on the throttle and just holds it there waiting. Yep. Just against the rev limiter because we're waiting for Todd to come out of the hotel.
Or Tony, because we gotta get to McDonald's to get some breakfast. Kranzels was the best.
Oh my
15
god!
passenger.
When we would do Pick the Hack, that was the most epic time on the planet. Just absolutely hilarious. It would me, Tommy, Todd, Smoke, and Jake Fleur, and just a bunch of us. And all of a sudden, you see dollars flying around like you're at a strip club. And 97% of the place had no clue what was going on.
That was what you guys were always hooting and hollering about in that corner at Snowbirds, wasn't
Oh,
it?
it's you. It was you because you probably sent somebody into the wall and you didn't know.
Tony, when he kind of first started, when he started coming around doing the RC stuff, it was weird because he even got a little bit enamored by the names, like, oh, it's Jay Kimbrough, the Kimbrough guy, the Don Rice, the Futaba guy, and all this stuff. And like, I think the first time we did Pick the Hack, me and Putnam are there, and whatever it was, one of us picked Don and one of us picked Jay. And Smoke is like, why would you pick those guys? And we're like, really? Well, hold on. As soon as the buzzers goes off, you'll find out.
I was like, I'm telling you, I'm taking this other guy from Pennsylvania. He's fine. Like, yeah.
Yep.
Pick the mixer. Yep.
And I think Todd took Kimbrough or something, and he didn't even make it out of turn one. Like, the buzzer went off, he whacked the throttle, slammed the inside wall, and broke the left front arm. Done. And Todd's like, pay me my money, bitch.
Oh, no. Todd dealing with the guy that sucked out the shitter at the open wheel match. Hey, man, what you doing here? That was awesome. He's like,
I just told that story.
Oh, sorry. I just
told that story. He's going to be famous like Kyle Petty someday.
All right, Fume.
Oh, he's froze.
Oh, no.
He'd fall down.
Back in the game.
No, every time I ever talk to Todd, though, at the Snowbirds, he's like, oh, Fume. Oh, he's going to be good, dude. I want to bring Fume. Oh, no. He loves you, dude. Like, you were like his illegitimate son. No, Fume would come here, he'd bust their asses. Like, I forget the guy's name he brought there. It was when we did that carpet car with Custom Works, whatever, and Todd was doing our motors, and gosh, he came there. He did like 6-cell modified or whatever, and I think you came that year, Fume. You brought a car. What's that?
Palomita?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, we had a big time that year. I think, Fume.
Yeah. Palomita was the man back then.
He fell off the planet. I want to know where he went.
Yeah, he legit fell off the planet.
Yeah. He was the king, though. No question, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Everywhere he went, he was the man.
But Todd took care of us, got us motors. Like, we got down there, and then, like, yeah, Palomita lapped us all, like, several times, I think. Maybe Josh only once, but me like 3 or 4.
That was the one year that I won 19 turn and 4-cell mod. Me and Palomita were pitting together, and he won 6-cell mod. So we all went out afterwards, and it was me, Palomita. I think Todd was with us, or he was following us, and Ziegler was with us.
We need Zig to call in.
We wiped out another minivan. Well, actually, that was the same. I think it was that the same? That was actually the same year. So it was funny. I turned the minivan in because it was in my name but Jack would reimburse me for everything. And we told the minivan story when we got pushed through the intersection, Tommy, with the broken bumpers and everything. And
I don't remember that.
About 6 weeks later, I get a bill from like Enterprise rental car for like $650, to fix the van. There you go. By the end of the night, it was $100 pick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, too funny. God, we had some good times.
Okay, I'm gonna peace out. Y'all enjoy. I just wanted to say hello.
Yeah, Tommy, thanks for coming on, buddy. Good to chat. Let's catch up.
See you, Tommy Tyler.
Good to see y'all.
One good thing with Tony and Smoke, that was good that they had a nice little rivalry because
Oh,
everybody that knows Todd knows that he loves Blaney. So we went to Volusia, and of course Todd's got his Blaney polo on, and then here comes Blaney walking up as we're walking in. He goes, "Oh, there he is, the man. Show him you got his shirt on. Don't have my shirt on. Got his shirt on." So, it's
one more if I could.
Go for it.
So we fly from Martinsville to Cooper's in the helicopter back in the day. Okay.
Yep.
So we get to the grass field finally. Like Rob's out there driving around in the
Oh, he
Explorer,
froze.
trying to find us. Am I back? Rob's trying to find us.
You're good.
Yeah, you're good, Tommy.
Okay. And Donnie's got his hands out the window. Like we got to get the helicopter over here. We get the helicopter in there, and then all Todd's like, "Dude, I got to take the helicopter." Because I think we were staying in like Dansville or something. It was a ways away.
Yep.
At the we all pile in there. I think it's Todd, me,
Rob.
little guy that did tires and everything, and Smoke's gonna fly it. The other guy that lost his life in that airplane crash, whatever. So we're sitting there and they're like, "Are we all good?" "Oh yeah, we're good." And so we lift off, and we have 12 minutes of gas, okay, to get to Martinsville Speedway. And Todd looks over at me and he said, "I didn't sign up for all this. I thought we were going to have an enjoyment. I thought we were going like the Grand Canyon." I was like, "Me too, bro. We've already been to South Boston Speedway. We've already been to all these places, and we looked for this place because it didn't even show up. Like if you went to Cooper's, it didn't even show up on the map. Like I don't even know how you got there, right? Like we used to go there, Burkhart, and we'd be like, okay, it's over here somewhere. You take 2 rights and a left." But that was the weirdest I had ever seen Todd. Like he was actually hungered down in the seat, and he's like, "Are we going to be good?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. The guy says it's going to be right on fuel." Like there was no funny that night. And we landed, and he's like, "Whew, okay, we're good."
Because one time Todd can't add voltage or speed to the thing to make it go and make sure he was going to be all right.
Yeah, like I'm riding in the middle seat. He's over there. He's like, "Oh, are we good? Does this normally happen?" I'm like, "No." He says he's got like 14 minutes of fuel. It takes 12 to get over there. I don't know, man. He's like, "Man, let's just hope we land." And it was that sketchy because we were out in the middle of nowhere. And the next day when we went out there, it like where we took off from, there was like high wire, like everything out there. And I'm like, whew, glad we made it out of there. But that was every time. If you entered into Smoke's situation, and Smoke loved Todd, like that was he loved to listen to Burkhart and Todd. Like the funniest stories ever were Burkhart and Todd. And probably you, Fumi. Like, I don't know. A little bit of that other guy that was on here earlier. What's his name? Smith.
Bob W.
W. Smith.
Bob Smith was funny, dude. He's a bowler, right?
No, Fume was the bowler.
Fume was the bowler.
That's you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Later, y'all.
All right, see you, Tommy.
Have a good one.
Catch up soon, buddy.
Later.
I'm tired.
He's still on.
He didn't log out. He just shuts the computer. Oh, my God.
It's funny. His thing keeps popping back up. He keeps trying to add back in. Come out.
Oh, my Lord. Too funny. This is good stuff. It's been fun. It really has. I don't know if you guys want to keep going. I'm happy to. It's totally up to you. I mean,
yeah, it doesn't matter to me. My kids are still at hockey practice and all that kind of stuff. If anybody else wants to join in, I know there's tons more. There's tons more.
Oh, there's tons. There's so many out there.
It's just getting people to actually want to come on and just jab.
Right.
Yeah, I'm glad we had, even the couple, you saw a couple of the comments you got popped up there, a couple of the, Eric Anderson, out your way, and John Hallenstein popped in there. That was good to see that. it's fun. You don't understand how lucky you are until you're not at times.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that like I've come to realize. Yes, I agree, EA. I have actually sent Dieter and Lemieux messages trying to get both of those chuckleheads on here to be able to tell a couple, because I know they have some outstanding ones.
Yeah.
But with all the stuff, and I'll admit, I mean, I still have trouble with with some of the stuff with my dad. I have this box of VHSs here, and I kind of get to a point where I see a bunch of stuff, and it kind of hits me, and it's like, and to make matters worse, I have like a computer that's like 12 years old at this point, so I'm having like a lot of issues, like actually trying to like process all the videos and all that stuff. So I've literally like, my wife's come down as I've like picked it up to throw it across the basement type of a thing. She's like, no. We'll get it fixed. We'll get something better. So, so I still have a ton of stuff, and I don't even know what's on, probably 3/4 of these, but it's one of the things that I realized from, my dad and then Art and a bunch of these guys racing. There's so many people. Jake, there's a link. Let me do this real quick. So.
Oh, Jake will have some good ones.
Oh yeah. All right, there you go, Jake. Click on that link. But it's one of those things that I realized that two things about racing, at least for me, I enjoy making stuff and I enjoyed the people. As much as we all wanted to kill each other at times trying to race and be serious, but like the interaction with everybody and having fun the way that we did, like it was almost like we stayed up and did all the crazy madness, at least from my point of view, just to have the opportunity to go to the next one and do it again.
Yeah.
So, and to see you guys and to talk and race against each other. And then even though, there was some of the races where we were going at it, like at the same time, we could still laugh and goof around and, have hilarious stories from a lot of this stuff. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I think people kind of lose in this. And with losing, it seems like a lot lately between just our age and then the COVID stuff and just some weird stuff lately. It's been a lot of things like that. So, losing Todd is just another great character, personality, person of the hobby that's gone now. And, it's a shame, but at the same time, I think we have to do a better job of putting some of this stuff out there to remember the races. And I'll be honest, like when I was younger, taking pictures, or some of the guys that were taking pictures at the races of that stuff, like I was like, why, that's dumb. Why do that? Now looking at it, I'm like, man, I should have had a camera set up and
absolutely
taking pictures and videos every chance I got just to be able to record some of the comedy, because like I had those pivot head glasses things with the camera on the bridge of your nose. I walked around Snowbirds for like 15 minutes of that. I have like footage of that, talking with Hanulik and some of the guys, and it's great. So, you gotta go. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow, check that out.
Oh, that's a way old one.
Scott.
So, I mean,
Scott thinks it might be his first RC car.
What is
that? That does not surprise me at all. Hell yeah! Look at that Michael Jackson jacket.
Pedro, click on the link, dude. StreamYard right there.
Now, Pete. Oh man.
On, Pete, EA, Jake Fleur, click on the link. You should be able to just run this through, like go like to your web browser and click on it from your phone.
Yep.
There's 3 dots. They got to click on the 3 dots.
Yeah. Go log in. Uh-oh, we lost Fume.
Uh-oh, we did lose Fume.
Fume down.
Oh,
Pedro,
man.
click on that.
Yeah, and adding Jake to the mix. So you bring up you say the words Tony Stewart, Todd Putnam, rental car, Jake Fleur, and you better hold the hell on because you are in for a wild ride basically, is what it boils down to.
Come on, phone, work. I'm trying to grab the link so I can send these through text, and maybe these guys will be able to do this a little bit easier that way.
All right, cool. Fume, what was that 12 scale track that we went to? What was the name of it again?
RC Raceways.
Oh yeah, I do remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
So
it was
we
like
did a bunch of stuff over there. Like, how far was Stanford from you?
Stanford.
Yeah.
Stanford was pretty far, about an hour and a half.
Okay. So that was like one of the first ones we did. I remember we all went. It was like me and Murphy and Todd, and we go to this place in Stanford, Connecticut. It was one of our kind of first traveling races, and we get there, and these guys ran. It was a wood floor. It was like a gym floor that they had basically just converted, kind of, and then they put sand paint over the top of it for the track. That was the traction, literally this like grip tape that they just rolled onto the thing. But Ryan, but we get there and they said, "Oh, we race backwards."
What?
Yeah, we turn right.
They racing boats?
And we're like, "Wait, what? Are you serious?" And they said, "Yeah, that's how we run." And we're like, "Oh my god! Oh, there's EA."
I lost almost all the audio.
Oh, we hear you.
No. Can y'all hear?
We got EA.
Yeah, we got you, man.
Bro? I just sent you the link.
Sorry, me and Kemp are at the track getting ready for New York. We leave tomorrow to go to Donnie's race.
Nice.
I forgot about this and it just popped up.
Eric, I'll be there. I'm coming down Friday.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's fitting that I can get Ryan a picture with Dieter and Joel.
Well, I don't know if you saw all the awards I was doing. Not all, but 5 of them. So back in the early days of the Snowbirds, there was a racer, Charlie Brown, that Todd was really good friends with. And I never met him, I don't think. And he died after the first Snowbirds. And Todd made a sportsmanship award for it. The Charlie Brown Sportsmanship Award he gave out at the Snowbirds each year.
Yep.
And I got the very first one. And he did it for, 5 or 6 years that he went. So I had some made this year that I'm giving out at the 5 on-road races for this year. For Todd.
That's cool. That's really cool. I forgot about that.
I don't know why my volume is not working on this thing. I can barely hear. But, so I'm bringing one up there for that race this week.
That's awesome. Where are you guys going? Where are you guys going, Melissa?
New Rochelle, Donnie Leah's track.
Oh, okay.
Just outside of White Plains, really.
Gotcha. Nice.
Sorry, I'm trying to turn the volume up because I can barely hear.
I was going to say, I can turn your mic volume up, but I can't adjust what you can hear.
If I can figure out how to do this, I can turn the volume up where I can hear.
Yeah, we can hear you pretty good, which is good.
So I remember there was one year at the Snowbirds that we were pitting back in the back. It was at the original hotel. And it was the first year of the Ultra Bird motor. It was a 19 turn. I want to say it was adjustable time, and Josh may remember. And it had stand-up brushes in it, and they ran like absolute crap. And Todd had his dyno sitting there, and I had my dyno sitting next to him, and we were both building motors all week. And I spooled one up on the dyno on something I was trying. And Todd kind of just glances over his shoulder and gave me that little look like, what's that? And I didn't say nothing. So we go out and make a few practice runs.
That was when you guys were cutting
Todd,
the brushes.
Back, and Todd pulls me over and he goes, what the hell was that? And I'm like, I'm going to do another one and I'll show you if it works. So I do another one and spool it up. And he reaches over, puts his hand on the dyno and says, okay, we're going to have a conversation right now about this. So I had taken some lay down brushes and cut them and stuck them into the brush hoods from the inside, so that it was basically lay down brushes in a stand up motor. That first year there wasn't a rule against it, but we kind of circumvented that, and then they had a rule the next year, but he couldn't figure out what I was doing that was making the motors rev like they were, and he was kind of wasn't freaked out, but he was like, I don't know what you're doing over there, but you're gonna have to teach me.
I remember hearing that. I remember Dieter coming over laughing about it. He was like,
yeah, they made a rule about it the next year. It was outlawed after that. But
it was funny because I remember Boylan coming over to talk to Jim and like, you think this is legal? He's like, there's no rule against it, so why not?
There wasn't nothing in the rules about it, so
yeah.
And I don't remember if it was that year or another year that Tony came over and had some little dogs he had just gotten for maybe I don't know if it was his girlfriend at the time or whatever, but these dogs were like teacup dogs. I mean, they were in like the palm of his hand, and he sets one down on
What's wrong with him in his hoodie?
And Todd looks at him and goes, "Where'd you get these rats at?" And Tony just looks at him like, "Dude, I just paid like $3,000 a piece for these dogs."
Yeah, he was walking around with them stuffed in his hoodie pockets.
Yeah, it was
dog heads hanging out
sitting there.
Oh my God, too funny.
Yeah.
No Jake and Pete, huh?
I sent him links. I just sent Jake a link through Messenger. What people don't realize is it's not, you just copy that link like into your web browser. And
Got
you have
it.
to click on it and go through there. So I think people are just trying to click on the link in the, where I'm posting it, and it's not going anywhere. So
they're clicking on the video, not the share.
Right. And that's the problem is as soon as you try and click on stuff in like the stream and in the comments, like I'm trying to do it and like reply to stuff, and it's not letting me. I have to do it in the program. So I'm still learning how all this works when there's multiple things on here. So
yeah, I went to your original post to grab the link and then clicked on it there because it's hyperlinked on that original post that you posted.
Yeah, I guess when I keep adding it into the chat here, it's not hyperlinked yet.
No, it's not.
Gotcha. What was the last year that Todd went to the Birds? How many years did you go to the Birds, Fume?
Well, I went a couple years when it was on the concrete track, original.
Oh yeah, you went to the OG one.
Yeah, and then I went probably 4 or 5 when it was in the hotel.
Yeah.
But the OG one was awesome. I mean, that track was so fast, incredibly fun.
Was it 1 year when Dager won that Todd was helping him and we went to throw him in the pool and Todd fell in the pool too at the original hotel?
I don't know if I was there for that.
Say that again, Eric.
1 year when Dager, I think Todd was helping Jeff Dager in 12 scale, and he won 12 scale stock. And we went to throw Dager in the pool, and if I'm not mistaken, Todd fell in the pool with him. It may not have been Dager. It may have been somebody else.
There's Jake.
What's up, Jake?
Oh, look at this old guy.
How you doing, Jake?
Uh-oh. We don't hear him.
Brian, the last year he was there was probably with Lemieux and Motive.
Okay, yeah, that was a year Paul he asked him to come down and do motors for him, right?
Yeah, that was probably the last year.
Yeah.
Man, Jake's lagging really bad.
Yeah, he is. He's lagging like the old guy that he is.
Dude, get off the 4G.
We can't hear him.
He's on dial-up.
He's on an AOL modem.
Come on, Jake. We need to hear you. Your ugly ass mug is not doing
it. I don't think it's working.
We need Fred too. Fred and Pete.
Yeah, oh my God.
I sent Pete the link.
How about now?
There you are.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you, pal.
All right. Figured it.
How you doing, buddy?
Takes me a while.
We got you. Whoa. There's some weird sound there.
He's on a flip phone, but it's backwards.
No, it's not a flip phone.
Jake knows the story from the open wheel that Max knows.
Which one do you want to hear?
I think you sent your son in to get beer out of my camper.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Oh, you know the story.
Yeah, it's okay, Jake. You can tell the R-rated versions.
Yeah, YouTube and everything allowed you to swear on
I
these
got
now, so
many
it's game
stories
on.
with Todd in it.
Yeah, only stories with Todd.
Oh. Is that Mr. Fume up there?
It is. How are you, Jake? It's been a long
Is that my
time.
phone making all the racket?
It seems like it.
Pete remembers that story.
Oh, check this out. We even got Scarecrow in the house.
Did it go now?
We got. There it is. Look at Scarecrow.
That's better now.
What's going on?
Hey,
How are you, Scarecrow?
Better?
Old, fat, and tired.
Welcome to the club, pal. Welcome to the club. Yeah, now we hear both of you. So this should be good. I know Scarecrow's definitely got some good TP stories. I know Jake is. I mean, there isn't a story that he tells that isn't a good one.
Wait, with Tony or with Todd?
With Todd. Screw that
Todd,
Tony
jeez.
guy. If it's got Tony in it, that's fine.
No, the best one I can come up with probably is Josh is leading in one of the 12 scale races down here, and Todd's standing beside me, and I hear Dieter hollering from across the room, "Pull the trigger!" Josh, next thing was Todd's got his hand in the air, just bowing to Dieter over there like crazy because Todd just blew by the opponent he was going against. It was crazy.
That was racing Murphy. That was racing Mike Murphy in 12 scale at the Birds.
Yeah,
that
Mike
was
Murphy
after,
at that point in time.
Yeah, that was
the other one was more than this. Is Todd comes up to me and he says, "Do me a favor." I said, "What's that?" "Will you tell the announcer from now on my name is not Putnam, it's Putnam?" Every 10 minutes he was announcing Todd Putnam, Todd Putnam, Todd Putnam. I'm going like, "It's not Putnam, it's Putnam." Todd goes, "Here, take this over there and show him." So I take a piece of paper over and write it out on him so he can actually see what his name was spelled. "Oh, it's that name." I says, "Yeah, that's Todd Putnam, not Putnam." It was so funny. It was a riot. But I had a lot of fun with him. I think the last time, like I said, he was at Snowbirds was about 4 years ago, probably. I think that was just the year after the tire toss. When he won all the money tossing tires.
Yeah, I don't think people know. Wow, man, I don't know if any of those guys are on from that. I guess I can testify to that one. So,
yeah, let's hear this one, Josh.
So they decided we were up, and I think all the racing was done. It might have been, I think it was Saturday night, so all the figure eight or whatever was going on, chaos was done. And there was a bunch of guys hanging around, talking smack or whatever, and they decided to have a tire throwing contest. So they were trying to figure out what to throw tires at. Well, it wound up being, sorry, Salvis, but I think it was his Mud Boss body that was like parked up on top of his like stack of shelves.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, "Well, where are we throwing?" So they're grabbing 12 scale tires or whatever. And I think we wound up just grabbing a bunch of touring car tires. Yeah.
No, don't.
So there was a bunch of people throwing. I forget, Walter, George, bunch of guys, and they were trying to get me to go in because they started betting money too. Next thing you know, there's like a big pile of cash. And Ryan Weeks was there. And these guys started throwing, and I mean, they probably threw 100 tires at the stupid body, and nobody could hit it and knock it off the table. And they tried to coax me into it, and I'm like, no, I'm going to watch. And it wound up being that Todd wound up drilling this thing, and he was the one that started it all, then got everybody to bet money, and then he ends up like 15 minutes in, ends up blasting it, and he's standing there with his big wad of cash, like he just hustled everybody and took their money for throwing tires, and he knocked Salvis's body off the table. So I don't think Salvis knew that they used his body for target practice, but don't worry, only one tire hit it, and trust me, there was a lot thrown at it. I think probably everything else in the pit areas around within like a 20-foot radius ended up just getting melted with tires for like a half hour straight.
Sounds like when a bunch of RC racers go to a golf course, the green is really safe.
Yeah, exactly.
The target is safe wherever you're trying to hit it at.
Yeah,
it's
safe. The funny part, like I said, is Todd started it all, and then all of a sudden they're betting money, and all of a sudden at the end, Todd's standing there with the wad of cash. I was like, this almost seems rigged. What do we got going on here?
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
well, I think next night they took all their stuff off the table, buried it underneath the table when they were done, because they didn't want to get nothing run over again that night.
Probably. They probably heard that everybody was throwing tires at their stuff.
So Jake, we had Tommy Tyer on earlier. You missed him, buddy.
Yeah, I just caught the tail end of that.
Yeah, that was pretty good. We had a good time with Tommy. Some stories. We always enjoyed the pick the hack. We had a blast at Kranzel's when we would pop that stuff, and next thing you know, everybody's got fistfuls of dollar bills. And
yes, I still think I have some money in my old Plano box from that.
There you go. I remember my dad would be like, "What are you guys doing?" I mean, even my dad didn't know what we were doing. What are you guys doing again?
I remember being at Snowbirds of that and seeing you guys all hooting and hollering and laughing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, what are they laughing at? Like, what's so? And I'm like watching, and you guys would be rolling. I'm like, okay, they're all laughing when somebody crashes. I'm like, all right, there's got to be more. And then I see money changing hands. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You could just pick them by their paint job.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in some cases, I mean, like if you pick Durla can actually get around pretty good, and he looks like he painted his bodies with a roller. So.
And he still does. He has not changed one bit.
I know. That's why I
stocked those 3 colors in the hobby shop just for him.
You should just,
What's up, Ryan?
Just get a latex paint bucket and just dunk. And Here you go, Durla.
Now he's going to have a big head because his name got mentioned in this conversation.
Yeah, I'm just saying that he would lose on the pick the hack thing because he can actually get around decent.
We still do that here for him.
I want to say pick the hack started at K&N.
He
just sitting on that bench.
Yeah.
There was a couple of different variables for picking the hack. You could look at the guy's wheel wells, how they were cut, look at the wing holes, look at the radio the guy was using. Like if he was using an AM radio, that was a sure pick. Bob Smith was amazing at that game. He would take everybody's money.
Isn't that what Iker used?
What's that?
Isn't that what Rick Iker used? That kind of radio?
Yeah.
Did he use an AM radio?
I don't know. The PA used to go crazy when he turned it on.
He was probably the only guy in the whole building on 40 band and nobody knew it.
Yeah.
Jake, you've got to have some good stories.
I have some good golf stories with.
Yes, you do. Those are
up at Syracuse.
Yeah.
Walt's Hobby. Did I tell you that one?
Oh, I know that story. You got to tell that story.
We played 9 holes, and there was a tournament going on. Where'd you go?
Well,
there was a tournament going on, and every cart
your video is a little wonky.
We would wave to them and say hi. And
where'd you go?
what happened?
No, who's there?
And we'd be waving to these guys when they come in the other way at us. And they weren't waving to us. They were just ignoring us.
I'll hold it. You need 2 here.
So we played 9 holes. And we go in to get a hot dog and some beer and there's a girl sitting there at the counter. And she says, oh, you guys talk. And so Todd goes, hell yeah, we talk. We want 2 beers and some hot dogs. And he goes, what do you mean you talk? He goes, we have a deaf tournament out there. She said, none of them guys talk. So, well, that's why they're not waving or saying hi to us when we go. So I said, how the hell are we going to yell for at these guys when We hit a ball at it. Todd goes, what? He slapped his chest and do a score. Yeah, stupid shit. I have it on video too.
Oh, that's epic.
Yeah, he just
not even surprising.
You have another one too about the guy cleaning the pool, right? Hi.
Oh, in the pool?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember what race it was. It was closed though, and we got there late. The other Burkhart was involved in that one too, BBG. I said to Todd, I said, we got to get down in that pool. It's so hot. He says, well, it's closed. So I said, I got an idea. I said, I went down. There's a guy down there. I said, hey, I left my glasses in here earlier today. I said, I can't see shit. They're laying in there on one of them tables. He goes, well, I'll give you the key to the gate. Go ahead in. I said, Todd, we're in. We're ready. We went in, shut the gate, threw the key on the side of the table there, and we're in there waiting around, and people are going by. Hey, the pool's open. Todd says, shut up. It's not open. We're not allowed to say anything. Well, then Berkey come down, big Berkey, and he flops in there with belly flop and scared everybody, woke everybody up. And the guy come out and said, hey, I thought you were just getting your glasses. And Todd says, oh, he got them. He says, we just thought we'd wait around a little bit. He says, well, just be quiet. Don't be waking anybody up. So we ended up sitting in there telling race stories all night, waiting around in the pool. And then Todd told my kid to go over and punch Kirby in the zipper one race.
Yes, he did. One of the golf tournaments, didn't he ask the guy that was cleaning his pool if they were biting?
Yeah. He told Max to go punch Kirby in the zipper. At one of the races there. They were handing out trophies.
It's real little.
Yeah, Max was little. And Max ran over and gave Kirby a shot in the zipper. And Berkey, how about over at Sandhills? Wasn't Todd staying with Smoke in that room next door to us?
Yeah.
And they rolled in about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
That was the night we all went to the strip club.
That was the night we went to Pizza Hut. And Tony did the donuts around the Pizza Hut.
He did the burnout out of the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yep. That was one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life.
Because people have to understand, it wasn't just donuts in the parking lot. Like, there's all the grass islands from this Pizza Hut, like, through into this whatever hotel we were staying at. And Smoke, like, lights him up, and his foot never comes off of full throttle, and he is sideways through all these grass islands and stuff, and, like, whips the car around and, like, slides backwards into a parking spot, gets out and flips us off. And I was
We're all
just
still
standing
standing in the Pizza Hut parking lot like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, I was just standing there like, what the? How? Like, what? And everybody else is like laughing like, it's just Tony.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't realize Todd was staying with him.
I called his room because they said Tony was next door. I called the room. It was about, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I could hear the phone ringing through the wall. And he picks up and I said, hey, it's your wake-up call. And I just hung the phone up. And he said, you think they bought it? And all of a sudden we heard, eek, 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 the water spigot's coming on. In the shower. We get to the track and we said, how was your night? To Tony. And he goes, it was good, but some asshole called me at 4:30 in the morning for a wake-up call.
Oh, God, that was a fun trip. That was a good one. That was the one where Bob won or something, or didn't Timmerman protest him? Fume.
No, I remember it because I was leading the race until Champion put me in the wall with 15 seconds to go. I was leading this stupid thing. They made a rule that we had to like cross the start finish line. You couldn't go down into the infield.
Correct.
So there was a wreck in the first turn, and Timmerman and a bunch of guys got pushed down into the infield. Well, Timmerman just kept going. After the race was over, they gave him his lap.
Correct.
So didn't Bob finish second?
So so Timmerman misses his lap. They're calling Bob Smith the leader and me in second. And Bob's got a half track on me. So there's And Timmerman was right in front of him. But if you're the leader and you got a half track on second, there's no reason to even go near the lapped car or the car you're about to lap. So he's just running it out. He wins. I finish second. We're celebrating on the stand. And then all the controversy came, and the Roar president happened to be there, and they came out with the ruling and gave it to Timmerman. I remember that.
Yeah. I do remember that.
So that's why Bob calls himself the people's champ for that, because he's the people's champ because he believes Timmerman, but there was no reason to.
Broke the trophy. He broke the trophy like in half, threw it in the trash can, and I think Putnam said, he goes, "That might be the only time I've ever seen a motor builder protest his own guy."
Yeah, protested his own guy. There, Bob was running East Coast at the time.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, because I remember because Champion ran in the back of Palomita off the start. Because I was fourth qualifier, Timmerman was third, Palomita was TQ, and Champion was second. And they pounded each other in the outside wall in the first lap. And then I ran around in the lead until they finally got Champion's car out of the back of Palomita's car. Champion took off, ran like 2 laps, and just totally blitzed me into the wall wide open while I was leading. And when I was leading, then I dumped, and I think Timmerman, Bob, and maybe it was you, Fume. All I know was like a whole herd of cars like split me coming to the line, and I ended up finishing 4th or 5th or something like that. And then
me and Bob
like wanted to fight afterward because Timmerman was protesting, and then they gave him the lap, and
Brad
Hayes actually like missed the loop and turned around. He was like next to Timmerman. And he turned around and came back.
Did what he was supposed to do. Yeah.
Did what he was supposed to do and took back off. And so, like, he wanted to fight the Roar guys afterward. Like, everybody was going at it afterward.
Oh, yeah, that was a mess.
I'm like,
that was an absolute mess.
Like, oh, well.
That actually might have been one of the last trips that I traveled to a race with Todd. You know, because he actually came down. I was already living in Maryland at the time, so he actually drove to my house, stayed the night, and then we left the next day, from here, and went down. I think that might have been one of the last ones that we kind of did together. That's why he got that 256 screw and you didn't, Fume.
Yeah. With that note, guys, I got to get going. I got to get my kids into bed. But this was awesome, fun time tonight, telling stories.
Well, I got to get my dog out.
Good seeing you, Steve.
Yeah, it's good talking. Good seeing you. I haven't seen you guys for a long time.
Thanks, Fume.
Yeah, had a good time. Good luck, Eric, at New Rochelle.
Yeah, Melissa, we do appreciate you letting us do this. We want to try to keep the words that that Janine said, and that's if we never stop talking about his name, he can be immortal, and there's enough to talk about with him that I think we can keep talking for a while.
Oh yeah.
There's no doubt about it. And I don't think any of us are terribly shy about telling stories. That's for damn sure.
No.
So I appreciate everybody jumping on. Josh, thank you for reaching out to me and getting this set up and saying, hey, let's do this because the man deserved it. I know that you've been hit hard here recently, and we all have. But I know that the passing of Art really seemed to hit you pretty hard. So thanks for bringing that to everybody's attention. Because these guys were legendary. I mean, and as much as we laugh and joke about it, we were kind of doing some cool shit that we didn't even know about, quite frankly.
Yeah. Oh, it's. I mean, I'll be the first to admit. I mean, I took a lot of it for granted. Just I had to, it was like, oh, all right, I get to go to Florida. I'm going to see so and so and so and so and so and so. All right, I'm going to go to this race, and it's going to be this group of guys. I took a lot of the travel, and I got to do for granted. And, locally and big race wise, like seeing a bunch of guys passing and everything. I'm like, what? And how much everything's kind of changed with the racing and just the way it is to get into it. I think it's a lot different than when all of us started. So I think it's very important for everybody to understand the people and the reasons why we all started racing and the reason why we all continued to do it and love doing it. We all liked racing and trying to win races and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we just had a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, there's guys like Todd that made it hilarious and always made it memorable and always made it a lot of fun to where, you know, when the day was done and you're kind of looking around like, all right, I'm not ready to go to bed. I'm done working on my stuff, but who's going to be doing something fun or interesting? Let me go see what that guy's doing, you know?
Yeah.
And Todd was definitely one of those ones you'd kind of migrate around through the pits to see like, all right, are they thrashing or is he?
Yeah. What's going on at the end of the night in that pit area?
Yeah. Where are they going or what are they doing? Because it's probably going to be fun. You know?
Are they thrashing or are they talking about where they're going to eat dinner?
Yeah,
we're going to eat.
Or you know, what
mostly
stories
dinner
are
or breakfast, one of the two. In snowbirds, it's usually 3 o'clock in the morning. We'll go for breakfast.
Yeah. I will say, you know, all the meals that I think I've eaten with RC guys and friends over the years, I could probably actually count on one hand how many lunches that I've actually eaten. Because we were always hip deep in everything in the middle of the day. So, you know, you're eating some crappy ass chicken sandwich or whatever. You know, hence the 52s, right, Fume?
Yeah. All right, guys, I got to split, but I was
real fast. I just got a message, Jake, that you'll like out from Nick DeAngelis. He goes, "I got to watch, but can't post them in friggin' Facebook jail for 7 days. I would have had some great stories to tell, and damn sure he would have." So
we can still send him the link. He can still join in.
well, I think he's technically a little older than we are, so he's challenged, I think.
Oh, stop.
I'm just kidding, Nick, if you hear me.
He'll catch it later.
Yeah, he definitely will.
All right, guys. You guys have a good night.
Bye,
I'm
Fume.
with Steve. Get out of here, too. So good seeing everybody. Have a nice time, and we'll keep Todd in our hearts. See you later.
Thanks, Scarecrow.
Right.
Thanks, guys. Melissa, I'll be in touch. We'll touch base soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Brian.
See you,
All right,
Melissa.
see you guys. Josh, again, thanks, buddy.
Thanks,
No problem.
guys.
Anytime.
Thank
ya.
you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Take care, Melissa.
Goodbye. Thanks, Josh.
Bye, kiddo. Good luck at the at Donnie's race.
All right. I guess I'll see you up there, Melissa, if you're coming up Friday.
Yeah, Ryan and I will be there Friday.
All right.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
I will see y'all there.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll catch you guys later.
See you.
Everybody have a good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Right.